Hello, thank you. My name is John Anderson. I'm the chairman and CEO of Triumph Gold, which is a gold exploration and development company located in the Yukon district of Canada, a home of Canada's newest mine. Our project, as I said, it's in the Yukon. It is a district-sized property. It's 200 square kilometers in length so far, 35 kilometers from one end to the other. And it is one of the only projects in the Yukon in a remote area that it actually has great infrastructure. We are road accessed to the property and through the property with the assistance of the Yukon government who maintains that road. We are well funded. After this year's program, we have enough money to do a substantial program next year that we actually, even though it's a remote area in the far north, we plan on beginning exploration next year in February. We have a good team of professionals and are adding to that fairly regularly from a technical standpoint. We have 343 1 ounce reserve reports on the project. So we're much more than just a greenfields project company. We have a number of projects on the property, but also looking at developing some of these resources going forward. Strong technical team, as I said, that is the main focus, the main growth, where we are adding people, most notably with Brian Bauer, who's come on as our lead director just over a month ago. He was instrumental in developing the technical team that found the new after mine and put that into production. I use that as an example because that is one of the projects that we have that I think you're going to understand or hear a lot more going forward. And the team we have assembled a world of experience globally, but mainly in the Western Cordillera, which is British Columbia and the Yukon, where we're located. This is our share structure. We got 137 million shares outstanding. Newmont is our largest shareholder through the acquisition of Goldcorp last year. And then we've also got the Zijin Mining Fund out of Beijing as our second largest shareholder. We just had our annual meeting and we have over 41% other institutional investors that have come into this company. We have financed this company since 2016 when we got control of it with to the tune of about $5 to $6.5 million every year privately with these institutions and other mining companies. And through that period, you can see we actually did a pretty good job defining the bear market after 2016. And that was based on exploration success that we did have on the project. We went outside of those resources and showed a lot of potential for not only growth in those resources, but new discoveries. We obviously got victimized pretty hard last year when we did a poor job explaining some high risk wildcat drill holes that we took out that came up with good geological core that really didn't carry grade that a lot of people were expecting. But now that we're funded, we did a program this year that we still got results pending that'll show really the direction we're going forward on the different projects on the property. We show this picture of this property for a number of reasons, mainly to show we are in the relatively only flat area of the Yukon. It's an area that's easily accessed, obviously with the infrastructure that we have, but more so that the area is amenable to open pit mining and underground mining. This is one of the only areas of North America that wasn't affected by the last ice age 10,000 years ago, and subsequently without a glacier going over it 10,000 years ago. The last one was over 1 million years ago. And what that's been able to do is allow a lot of the mineralization to penetrate, leach up into the soils, and has given us a pretty good competitive advantage from an exploration standpoint. Our project, as I mentioned, and we are in Yukon, Canada, home of Canada's most recent mine being the Eagle project by Victoria Gold. And the area is tucked in between Alaska to the north and British Columbia to the south. Our property is this orange area up here. It is 220 kilometers northwest of the capital of Whitehorse as the crow flies, and just 40 kilometers off of the Klondike Highway, which is a 2- and 3-lane highway that goes all the way up to Alaska. There's great infrastructure to our property off of that Klondike Highway and goes right through 80% of our property. That's given us a real competitive advantage for a number of things. Obviously for access, the cost of our drilling is much cheaper than any of our peers. And of course, when you go into development, that has an incremental evaluation as well. Geographically or geologically, we're located along the Big Creek Fault. We straddle the Big Creek Fault with our property. The Big Creek Fault is the controlling structure for a lot of those major deposits in Alaska and coming down in the Yukon, where the coffee project is that Newmont currently has, the massive casino project that Western Copper has, and then we're just 25 miles southwest of the Minto mine, where there's been an open pit mine, copper mine for the last decade. And then also I note the Clouds deposit that Rockhaven Resources have, because that project is very similar to one of the projects we have on our property. This is a geological map that was done in 2017 by the Yukon government. It's the only work they did in the province that year in association with MRDU, and it shows a lot. Our property, again, straddles the Big Creek Fault, and it's the only area in the Yukon where the Big Creek Fault separates into what's called the North Big Creek Fault Zone and the South Big Creek Fault Zone. And that's obviously a result of a geological event, with the host rock being mid-Cretaceous, and then 35 million years later in the late Cretaceous period, you had this geological event that caused the Big Creek Fault to separate and lift this porphyry potential upside. Most notably, what we've been working on in the last couple of years is this little teardrop shaped area where we have this giant soil anomaly. It is North America's richest, most intense soil anomaly, with the nucleus deposit being 1 million ounces to the left, and in the center of it, the revenue deposit, which is another 1 million ounce gold equivalent resource. This is that soil anomaly I just alluded to, with the nucleus at the far side and then the revenue in the more on the far right side. The top being the gold interpretation and the bottom being the copper interpretation. Our work in the last couple of years has not been on those resources, which we are going to go back to. They are low-grade resources. We understand them now better, and we're going to go back and obviously look at increasing the grade and the size of those resources. But most of the work has been outside of those resources. This is a slice cross-section of that soil anomaly from west to east, where you've got 5 mountain spurs, and you can just see the magnitude of what the potential for Triumph Gold is just in this area. You've got the nucleus epithermal gold deposit, which is a 1 million ounce low-grade deposit made up of high-grade epithermal veins. And then you've got the revenue deposit, which is very similar, where you've got a 1 million ounce gold copper equivalent resource made up actually of high-grade epithermal veins. These pits go down to a maximum of 240 meters deep. And beyond that, we've drilled 600 meters and 1,000 meters below the system that we've identified a high-grade system, which based on a comparatively, you'd have to look at like a Wafi-Golpu that Newcrest and Harmony have in Papua New Guinea, where you've got a 2 million ounce resource up top and a 5.5 million ounce reserve down below. So a lot of upside on our property. The basic understanding now is the host rock, which is a low-grade host rock, was actually geologically moved 35 million years later with these high-grade systems. And what we've been able to do in the last couple of years is understand how to find them and how to better identify them. This is a 3D inverse magnetic survey that shows you that. The nucleus deposit, the high-grade mineralization is in the pit and goes down below. That is not in the resource. Similar over the revenue, where we've hit this 600 meter and kilometer long deep holes into the system that shows we've hit the source of it. This is an inverse magnetic survey that shows we're onto something fairly substantial, and our plan is to go underground and start drilling that. This is our property in a 200 square kilometer size photo of the area, where there's a lot of exploration still to be done and development. These are discoveries by the company that will be followed up aggressively in the next couple of years, most notably Irene, which is a 3.7 kilometer long epithermal vein that we drilled this year with results pending, and the Tinta deposit, which is a high-grade polymetallic deposit that was going to go into production in 1982, and we are looking at doing the very same thing based on some old historical work that was done underground, deep below what we've been finding at surface. So we are a very leveraged company. We trade at $13 market cap per ounce, with obviously a lot of upside to that based on the exploration that we presented. So thank you very much, and really appreciate your time and listen to our story.